Money issues to tackle before marriage. You know, money issues are notorious for causing friction in marriage and in life. Avoid that by starting some key money conversations before marriage. And today I'll show you how. Baby, you know I love you, but you gotta show me your credit score. Imagine you're dating, it's getting serious, marriage might be in the future, and yet something is just not right. You both have money histories, scripts that play in your heads about scarcity, abundance, credit, savings, and investing, even housing expectations. As Elvis would say, suspicious minds. We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can't build our dreams on suspicious minds. Well, Elvis, I don't sing. I'm just a drummer. NerdWallet just did a survey on financial infidelity and found 2 in 5 Americans who have a significant other withheld or lied about financial information in money discussions with their partner. So how do you talk, align interests, and discover and disclose money approaches, beliefs, and hopes for the future as a couple? You know, it's time then for a money date or retreat. And this is going to happen over time. Folks, this is not one date, meeting, or event. As we got engaged, my wife and I did our own unprompted, uncoached attempt at this long before I became interested in financial planning. Now you're watching What's Next with Money, a program with smart insights to guide your financial decisions. You know, we're talking here about big and small money issues. And I'm leaving right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm leaving the cost and planning for a wedding off the table. Off the table. Keep in mind, there are various wedding alternatives, including honeymoon alternatives, but you may be having certain family or heritage traditions and expectations for weddings as events or milestone events. You know, and again, that could be a separate video. But growing up rural in Kentucky, I saw more efforts and money actually going into funerals than weddings, or as we would call them, homegoings. Now, weddings should be a separate discussion and approach to personal finance. We're going to talk about the basics. We're going to talk about relevant and money agenda topics for a series of dates or money meetings that you can have before marriage. We're going to give you the blueprint. And here are some that crop right up. Housing. And by the way, it is perfectly fine, and most newlyweds rent. No problem there. Make sure you have renter's insurance, or if you're a homeowner, homeowner's insurance. Think about your HOA fees with homeownership, assessments, the security of your place, the utilities. Do you have a storage unit you might need to consolidate? What about parking? You might have 2 cars, and parking could be an issue. The size and layout of the place. Now, if you're likely merging households, what are we talking about? We're talking about merging stuff, money, accounts. And some of you might have a house or homes. You know, could you, if both of you have a house, could you keep one of those and rent it as an investment opportunity? What are your expectations if that real estate, that second home, is located in a different area? Could you manage it and rent it from afar, or are you going to need to sell it? Now, we also need to talk about account disclosures. Which ones can or should be merged, consolidated, and even closed? Now, each of you should create your own money map. And I use mind maps a lot as a technique to really think through ideas, and they might look something like this. But we've got one of our most popular videos on money maps, and we'll have a link to that. So we're talking about getting all this on the table and, you know, revealing all those things that are about money that are in your individual lock boxes. We want to talk about and disclose what we own, what we owe, what we want, the money things we regret, and we still might be paying for some of those. we want to talk about our career aspirations. And here's a big one, the financial identity that we want to be, but then there's the blending of what we want to be together as a couple. And it's kind of like, do we want to start a business, maybe even on the side? What kind of extra preparation do we need for our career or our entrepreneurial interest in training, experiences, mentorship, apprenticeship, schooling? What about having kids or even adopting beyond the kids you may have now, or if you even want to have children? You're creating a life partnership. Now, we'll drill down to more specifics for that agenda. And we need, again, those necessary disclosures. Let's take a few one by one. Let's lay out the loans we have. And we're talking about all kinds, even small ones. If you owe it, you must disclose it. List the amount owed, the balance due, the interest rate, the payment terms. And for payoff ideas, we talk about these in other videos, there's the snowball method of paying off. Take the largest debt, and you're going to kind of collectively merge these into one list. The smallest debt you have to the largest, and start there. And as you pay off one of those small ones, you take that extra payoff money and apply it to the next biggest one. This gives you a sense of momentum. Or then there's the avalanche method. You start with the highest interest rate loan, pay that off, and move to the lower ones. Now that might make more sense financially, but it's hard sometimes from a momentum standpoint. So you can use a combination of snowball and avalanche if you like. The key is to build momentum. Then you want to look at your retirement accounts through your employer, the 401k. Of the two of you, are either of you getting the top match, the free money? If not, what are your plans to try to do that? Are you both actively contributing to your 401k? Do you need to update the contribution level? And do you have any 401k loans? This is kind of on the loan list, but it's more tied to the retirement accounts. You should really plan to pay those off pretty early. Then do you have retirement savings outside of your employer, a Roth IRA? If you're a gig worker or own a small business, do you have a SEP, S-E-P, a self-employment IRA? Now, what about outside of retirement? Brokerage accounts, stock and margin options trading. Are you a frequent trader? This is where we've got to disclose the financial behaviors, how we're engaging the market beyond retirement. These brokerage accounts that are generally not retirement accounts, although some people play money and don't really, they trade frequently and don't invest, have good investment thinking in their retirement accounts, but let's say it's brokerage accounts. This is all taxable. Now, are you a frequent trader? Are you into meme stocks, crypto? Now, many of these are risky. And remember, frequent trading is not investing. Do you have emergency funds? What size should that be? This is one of the first things you should build. At the same time, you're paying off credit cards and handling your loans. You need an emergency fund so you don't dip into credit more. 529 education accounts. You might already have some set up for kids if the kids are already around. But those 529 education accounts can help you and in your professional development. What about big, expensive choices like for kids about daycare? How is their schooling? Is it going to be public or private? Do you each own collectibles of some type? What are your plans for that? Credit cards or reward cards, bank and credit union accounts. What about fintech apps like financial software? And transactional online purchasing, subscriptions, gambling, sports betting. What is happening with each of you online in terms of money? Disclose that. This will help reveal buying habits that you have. Your expectations about travel, vacations, timeshares, family obligations, and a big challenge young people have, and this is so ill-timed, but I've gone through it, and my younger friends do. You're attending other weddings, and that's not cheap. You have savings habits. What are those, if at all? Do you own cars, motorcycles, boats, all that insurance, maintenance, storage, and licensing fees? Now, here's some stuff we're not real proud of. Predatory lending, payday, cash advance, pawn shops, title loans. What's going on in that field? And then tax prep and compliance. How do you keep up with state and federal taxes? Now, if you're getting value from this video, be sure to hit that subscribe, smash that like button. This helps move our content to more folks, and it's free. And then a fun thing you could, I would say, even start with in some of these money meetings, talk about your respective employee benefits if you have those. And list the ones you're using and maybe some you've thought about using that are unused that may have potential. And some that should be naturally activated in a dual person household. Now, here are a few. Group life insurance, and you want to change the beneficiary designations on that to reflect your new spouse. Retirement 401k plans, also beneficiary designations. Health insurance, and then a companion health savings account or flexible spending account. And that health savings account likely will have beneficiary designations, a place to list those. Student loan payoff assistance, a great new benefit many companies and employers are offering. Tuition reimbursement, a great thing if you need more education, graduate education, certificates, special training, and the employer's helping to foot that bill. It's going to take some effort and energy, but as my wife and I did, we coordinated these kind of extra training things while we were navigating our jobs. And one of us at one time went to a part-time status while we were doing graduate education. And you might have a real bonus, almost like a built-in coach, if you're not using a financial advisor. Some companies have EAPs, or employee assistance programs, where you can get help with societal issues, personal issues like addictions, but even coaching about money management, budgeting, and just some other help, and they can refer you to great providers. The availability of daycare, does that happen at your place of employment? Now, moving away from employee benefits and your place of work, what about other family financial obligations or assumed expectations by you and your new spouse about interacting with the family? And many of these carry financial consequences, and there may be financial expectations undisclosed from family members to you, especially if you're doing very well relative to other members of the family. You could be asked to share that wealth, share some of the bounty and the blessings to help others in your family that are struggling financially. Do either of you have settlements or obligations from a prior divorce, custody, child support, some law enforcement incident, or even the IRS, state and federal? Do you have liens on property or any fines you've got to pay off or deal with? And what are your expectations about work, salary, bonus, career goals, the prospects of your current job? Are you thinking about changing jobs or changing fields? Where do you see yourself in 2, 5, or 10 years? And here we can think about gig work, kind of income on demand. And you may even have off the books work that's sort of like a hobby that could blossom into its own small business. We need to think about the time. Time and money are so tied together. Work commitments, including commuting, shifts, overtime, work from home, weekends, military reserve obligations, working evenings, job promotion and career changes, field changes, relocation possibilities, and then doing some of these great automatic behavioral finance things like automatic savings, being automatically enrolled in your 401k, automatic escalation of contributions to capture future raises for retirement savings and investing. And then a great thing your employer can often help with are human capital assets, your ability to bring in income, your expertise beyond degrees. We're talking certifications, soft skills training, coaching through your employer. What about small business or creative endeavors, our dreams or expectations? The idea of giving to others, charity, being of service, things like, military reserves. We've talked about Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, nonprofits. Some people want to take a year of service, tied to a faith community, or maybe helping a poor region recovery. Here's a very unspoken one. What are the financial expectations of some of your close friends? That is a tough one and kind of very personal. And then also personal, legal or tax problems, obligations, again, issues with kids, and a recent approach to money and marriage is one of you might want to be the CFO of your household and the other the COO. So what does this mean? The CFO is like the chief financial officer. They're going to watch the budget. They're going to look at the investments, but you need to have money meetings and disclose and even journal and talk about these goals. This is where you share your aspirations. And then the COO is like the chief operating officer. This is the person that's making things happen, the scheduling, especially if you have kids or caring for older family members. There's a lot of coordination that has to happen. And one or each of you might want a piece of those roles in some way, but it can't be totally exclusive. You can't be the CFO and never share the financial information with the spouse. It has to be disclosed, and you need to work as a team. We also have the important area of wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and the easy ones to fix that you want to update, beneficiary designation changes. And this estate planning as you're married is a much bigger issue you want to nail down. Now, we talked about, disclosing and sharing more of your money history, scripts that play in your head. So you might want to outline some of these in a journal in advance, kind of take these questions. And my wife and I did this. We pre-wrote answer to like 20 or 30 questions we just invented. I wasn't any CFP at the time, to talk about scarcity, abundance, what drives your money motives, the things that can be really fun to talk about, and some tough conversations in your money date. But return back from your journals and your money map to these ideas of the personal, how you were raised, the money beliefs, fears, and dreams and hopes you have. So after all this, you might even make Elvis proud with a new song called Harmonious Minds after your multi-session money discussion dates. So be sure to hit that subscribe and that like button. Don't forget to share. I'm Brent Neiser, looking to see you next time on What's Next with Money.